The information surrounding the discovery of a fetus in a school bathroom on Monday afternoon has remained under wraps. Law enforcement did reveal that a post-mortem is scheduled sometime during this week. The disturbing news has caught the attention of President of Raise Your Voice St. Lucia, Catherine Seelys, who says the unfortunate event calls attention to a more pressing issue on island.
We have a long history here of having legislation that causes this kind of behavior. For example, abortion is illegal in St. Lucia and is only mentioned in the criminal code, nowhere else.
Seelys, who is pro-choice, cites what she views as St. Lucia's archaic abortion laws as a cause for concern.
If somebody were to want an abortion, they would have had to be sick, almost dying. They would have had to be raped on some very, very critical thing. And then they would have to be assessed by a number of health professionals, mental health professionals, for it to be granted in a public health system. So this in itself causes people to feel they have no exits. And then we have to take into consideration what happened that caused this pregnancy. We would want to assume that it was somebody that was in a relationship. It could be otherwise. We have had a number of reports of sexual assault and rape through COVID. Children that were in same spaces with the abusers. So it could be a number of things.
Seelys urges policymakers to focus attention on enacting laws that match the prevailing realities of the 21st century.
We are hoping that this is a lesson and that the government can actually look at legislative reform when it comes to sexual and reproductive health, abortion rights, women's rights, because we have a lot of laws to tell women what to do, and men continue to get women pregnant whether they want or not. Men continue to commit sexual crimes against women. So what we should focus on is crimes committed against women, not what women want to do with their own bodies. Changing abortion from a criminal matter to a public health matter is just an amendment, a simple amendment. Delete it in the family, in the criminal code, and include it in the public health act. That's it.
The gender activist cautions against rushing to judgment in the apparent case of the concealed birth.
The Ministry of Education, the Vulnerable Persons Unit, the Department of Human Services would have looked at it as a social issue as opposed to a criminal issue, because I read an article and they're already talking about they can be convicted to 5 years in jail and all kinds of things. And these are the things that causes fear in young people and people generally, that they don't want to come forward. They don't want to come forward with a problem. They don't want to confide in people because people judge them. People judge people in St. Lucia. They make them feel unwanted and outcast. So, it could be a number of reasons, and I'm hoping that this is handled in a manner that supports rather than it is punitive.
Seelys remains hopeful that the unfortunate situation can jumpstart a wider conversation about legislative reform, age of consent, sexual and reproductive health education in schools, and gender equality. Solange Alfred, HCS News Force.